And there was a little problem with this. Sometimes we do that. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcome to this Monday morning, 23rd of July 2018 for live streaming. Let truth be your experience. There is a difference between fact and truth. I am speaking of truth. Hindus have used three words. Sages, the mystics, have used three words: Sat, Chit, Anand. They are connected to one another. Sat means truth. Truth is an experience. And when you have experienced something, you live with it. That is, it becomes your guiding principle. That is known as consciousness. Consciousness is guided by truth of whatsoever you know. Whatsoever you know, whatsoever is stored in your system, that is what guides your programs, that processes everything. And the outcome is Anand or bliss. You have experienced electricity, you know the truth of it, you know its quality of it, you know its hazards of it, you know the benefits of it. Then would you remain blind to this truth that you have known? You will use electricity in the best possible manner to make the things easier for you, and the outcome of that is bliss. In the same way, you have learned the computer system. You know how to use various systems that are there on it. The Word, if it is Android, if it is Mac, then you understand all that. You know how to operate it, how to use it. Then everything that work that you do, whether it is personal, typing a letter or searching for something, you do it through the system. This is here, you have known something, you are living by it, this is consciousness. And the joy that you get out of that, the quality of the work that you get out of it is immense. This is known as Sat Chit Anand. Truth, consciousness, and bliss. Indeed, truth is an experience. But in most of the cases, it does not remain your experience. You live by the experience of others. Everyone has to discover his own truth. Muhammad's truth is not your truth. Krishna's truth is not your truth. Buddha's truth is not your truth. The only thing is the experience of these people will help you. You say, why should I do this? Holy Prophet has given us the way of life to live in Holy Quran, and that is the entire Islamic religion, and I do not need to do anything. Then Holy Prophet has eaten. Why do you have to eat? Omar Khayyam has a composition which was translated into translated, or based on that composition something was written in Urdu language. क्या हो हासिल उनके जिक्र से जो पीकर मस्त हुए हैं. What shall you gain, O fool, by talking about those who are drunk and gone? I have heard there was a beautiful station, hill station, just as we have Paris, we have Switzerland, and other beautiful places throughout the world, in India and other places where people go for honeymoon. So when people visit that place for honeymoon, there was a guide. He was always guiding the people about the places, about the integrity of the honeymoon, this and that and all these. So it happened one day a couple came and he was getting some useful tips from that guide. So he asked, "Are you married?" He said, "No, I'm not married." But he is an expert in guiding the people. Holy Prophet drank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he is drunk by the way of that, and he spoke as Quran Pak, Quran Majid. You have to carry your own cross on your shoulders. Only then you will know what Christhood is. And most of you are carrying other people's experiences. Your scriptures are the experience of others. Certainly they are the guides, they are maps in your life's journey. But never make these your experiences as your experiences. To remain true has to be your own experience. Knowledge comes from outside. It is memory based. That's why we have in computer what is the RAM and what is the hard drive memory. RAM, the readily available memory. Wisdom comes from within. It is consciousness. It is consciousness oriented. Hence knowledge is of no use as it cannot take you far. It creates bondage for you because it is borrowed, and truth can never be borrowed. It is your own experience. The moment you borrow truth, it becomes a lie. The truth, to remain true, has to be your own experience. For truth to be true, to be beneficial to you, has to be your own experience. Buddha has his truth. Jesus discovered his truth. However, Christians and Buddhists are simply living with borrowed knowledge. Jalaluddin Rumi discovered his truth, but all the seekers are living the borrowed knowledge. Hence, after 2000 years of Christianity, not a single Christ has come. And they are waiting for the original Christ to be reborn. It seems they are conditioned not to bother about that. And that is the success of the religion, to condition you in such a way that you are satiated with all that is there in the Bible, what is being taught, what is being told you during the sermons in the church. 2000 years of imitation and not a single Christ has been created. The same is true about other religions. Not a single Buddha is created in 25 centuries by the Buddhists. I mean by Buddhists. Not a single Krishna has happened in 5,000 years. It seems one man married and everyone else is living, reading the scripture of his experiences. There cannot be any better example. Will you be satiated by reading the marriage scriptures, the experiences of the one who is married and gone? And the reason is simple. People are simply creating bondages by accumulating knowledge from outside. A Christian, a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Muslim are all slaves. Certainly they are slaves of words and traditions. Muslims live by traditions, Hindus live by traditions, Christians live by traditions. It is incumbent on Muslim to offer prayers 5 times for the day. And they consider Allama Iqbal as one of the Sufi poet. And one of his composition is Sarva Sajda Hua Kabhi Jo Sarva Sajda Hua Kabhi Jo तो ज़मीं से आने लगी सदा तेरा दिल तो है सनम आशना तुझे क्या मिलेगा नमाज में. Whenever I bow down in prayer, a message came from below. Your heart is incandescent. What shall you gain through the prayer? Now, no, they will sing this composition but not try to understand, and even if they understand, they overlook. Allama Iqbal is the living experience of Quran Pak, Quran Majid. But no, they will not go with that. They will go with the original scripture. It is incumbent on a Muslim to offer 5 times namaz. Well, then do it. That's your choice. Truth is hidden inside you. There is an anecdote which I have heard. It was once gods and angels were discussing what to do about truth, where should we hide it, so that man will have to make an effort to search for it. So one of the angels said, hide it under the sea. God said, one day man will discover it. Then place it on the mountain under the snow, that too can be discovered. Hide it in the books, that is the easiest way people can discover it. Where else, where has to, all the possibilities were explored and mentioned, but God went on rejecting all. Then he said, you know what am I going to do? I am going to hide it inside the man's heart. He will search everywhere, but he will not search within. Like the deer that carries the musk in its navel. He knows, he feels he smells the fragrance. So he runs all around in search of that fragrance, but he does not find it because he does not know that it is hidden in its navel. Such is the situation of the man. The truth is hidden deep within, in his heart, but he is searching for everywhere, here in this temple, that mosque, in this company or that company. Truth is hidden inside you. It is the kingdom of within, and you have to go and look for it. Raman rightly said, go within. That's the only way. Hindu scriptures emphasize go within. But no, we want to go and do things in this company and that company, in this temple, going to the temple, churches and mosques, consider it to be very religious. There is no religiosity. That is simply a social gathering where you go for social comminglings, and that's all. Truth is hidden within you. It is the kingdom of within. You have to go and look for it. That truth cannot be found in Bible, in Quran, in Vedas or anywhere else. Is but within you. And all that I teach you is simple process of going in. An awakened one will only teach you the process how to go in. It is so simple that people think it is difficult, and it is arduous process. And once you go within, you will discover your truth, and then you will not need to carry the dead scriptures like corpse on your shoulders. The only reason that we have not been able to create enlightened one is that we are happy with the experience of the others. One man got married, everyone is happy and every day going to hear the discourses of his marriage experiences. What would you gain by, have you ever pondered even a single verse of Holy Quran and gone deeper into it? If you take one verse and you go deep into it, you are like diving, and by diving alone you can reach to the surface of the ocean, to the depth of innermost depth of the ocean, and discover the gems, the precious gems. But you like swimming on the surface. It is comfortable. It consoles you. You know so many verses of Quran. You know so many verses of Bhagavad Gita. And when Raman says only 42 verses are useful and the rest of that can be discarded, Raman is not alive. Had he said had anyone, Pandit or anyone listened to him saying during his lifetime, it would have been a difficult situation. And if he was a Muslim, only God forbid what can happen to him. The only reason that we are not able to create enlightened ones is that we are happy with the experience of others. The obvious way seems difficult. It is just a question of closing your eyes and not doing anything, just relaxing and resting. Yes, in the beginning the mind creates nuisance, but there is no need to pay any attention to it. It cannot disturb your reality. The more one after the other the question comes in, it is like peeling off the onion. You keep on removing the layers upon layers, and in the end what you get is nothing. The space that was hidden within the onion merges with the total space. The two is one. And this is what it is called, God and soul are one. Let it fool around. Mind will do all kinds of gymnastics to attract attention. Just rest and be utterly indifferent, as it does not matter. You can tell the mind to go on doing all its things, but I am not going to do, but I am going to do my things. You can tell the mind, go on doing your things, but I am not going to be bothered with it. I am going to continue with my work. If one can just go on remaining indifferent to the mind, Slowly and slowly it becomes so bored with its own work that it commits suicide. Mind needs attention. You felt something, you share it with someone, and he gives air to it. And you think that something great is happening. Do not pay attention to the mind. That is the key to go within. And the mind will commit its own suicide. When there is nobody to pay attention, mind dies of starvation. I remember an anecdote. During early days of my youth, whenever there is a spiritual function which used to be once in a year in another city, which was about 2 hours of drive by road. So the city where we were living, we had to go to the next city where the shrine of the master was for a spiritual gathering during the month of October. So first I will go with the truck loaded with all the essential ingredients, and then my grandmother will travel by car or by another means, so she will follow. So it was an old truck. I and my younger cousin were going together. So the seat were wooden, no cushion on it. So it happened the driver mashed the brakes and the head of my cousin hit the dashboard. Would have hurt. He looked at me, but I paid no attention to it. He looked at the driver. He was unaware of what had happened. So he just remained quiet. Nothing happened. He continued playing, laughing, and the whole journey episode. When we reached the city, he continued playing with the boys of his age. As soon as my grandmother came, he started crying loudly that his head got hurt and it is paining a lot. So the grandmother tried to pamper him and ask him how it happened and this and that. So by chance I was there. I said, what had happened? He said, my head got hit on the dashboard and it is paining. I said, but you are playing. So he said, I looked at you, you paid no attention. There was no one to complain to. So I just remained quiet. And now that my grandmother is here, I am crying and she will pamper me. This is the nature of the mind. If you become aware of it, then mind cannot disturb you. When there is no one to pay attention, mind dies of starvation. Mind needs nourishment. Mind lives on attention, and attention is the nourishment for the mind. Attention is its food. And then one day suddenly you will find the joker is not there. You look at all around and there is nothing else but deep silence. In that silence, wisdom is discovered. In that silence, you start having insights into things, life and living. And then whatsoever you do is right, because wisdom liberates and makes you capable of seeing what is right and what is wrong. And once you know on your own what is right, you cannot go against it. There are some of you who are online listening to this live streaming, may be expert in computer or in a particular program or anything there. You have discovered, you have learned this on your own. You can guide anyone far away and correct his system without going into anything. The steps will come one after the other, because all that you have to share it with the person is your own experience. Not that you have written it here and there and so. A master chef does not need to have the recipe written in front of him, and every step he reads what is written in that and then adds. That is the experience of someone else. If he knows something, if he has learned, if he have experienced something, then he lives by that experience. So you can guide the steps of the person, guide the person step by step in solving that problem. He may be far away from you. This is the outcome of the experience. In that silence, wisdom is discovered. In that silence, you start having insights into things, and then whatsoever you do is right, because wisdom liberates and makes you capable of seeing what is right and what is wrong. And once you know on your own what is right, you cannot go against it. Then an inner discipline arises in you. That is the only discipline I speak of. And that inner discipline is renunciation. That inner discipline is initiation or bath. That inner discipline is initiation. I do not give you any other discipline, because that would be an imposition from outside. I certainly help you to find your own wisdom, and then you have to live in that light accordingly. I am not here to make you a slave. My whole effort is to help you, to help as many people as possible to be liberated from the bondages, so that they can breathe fresh air. My emphasis is for you to breathe fresh air and free from the bondages. As many people can be helped as may be possible. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.